Amina, a 20-year-old woman living in a bustling African city, constantly felt pressure about her appearance. She believed that lighter skin was the key to being seen as beautiful. Every morning, she stood in front of her mirror, hoping to find her reflection a little lighter, a little closer to what she thought was perfection. Her friends and the media around her reinforced this idea that lighter skin equaled beauty and success, and it consumed her thoughts. She tried various creams, masks, and other beauty treatments, but nothing seemed to work fast enough for her liking. Amina began to withdraw, avoiding social events where she felt judged for her darker complexion. Her obsession grew as her self-esteem plummeted, and all she could think about was finding a way to make her skin look lighter. One day at school, while discussing her insecurities with her classmate Linda, Amina's frustration reached a peak. Linda noticed her distress and offered her a solution: a whitening face wash she had recently purchased. "It worked wonders for a cousin of mine," Linda said with a reassuring smile. Without hesitation, Amina eagerly took the face wash, hoping this would finally be her answer. That evening, she rushed home, excited to try it out. She followed the instructions carefully, imagining the beautiful, lighter skin she would soon have. Little did she know that this decision would mark the beginning of her greatest regret. As soon as Amina applied the face wash, she felt an unfamiliar tingling sensation on her skin. It seemed like a sign that the product was working, so she left it on for the recommended time, excited for the results. After rinsing it off, her skin did look slightly lighter. Elated, she thought she had finally found the secret to achieving her dream complexion. She smiled at her reflection, feeling hopeful for the first time in a long while. The next morning, Amina went to school with renewed confidence. Her classmates noticed the subtle change in her skin tone, and Linda even complimented her. It felt like the validation she had been yearning for. That evening, she applied the face wash again, determined to accelerate the process. A week went by, and Amina continued using the face wash religiously. But soon she noticed something was wrong. Small red bumps began to appear on her cheeks and forehead, but she dismissed them as a temporary reaction. "It's probably just my skin adjusting," she told herself, ignoring the warning signs. As the days passed, the bumps worsened, turning into angry, inflamed acne. Amina started to panic. Her once smooth skin was now covered in painful blemishes. In desperation, she stopped using the face wash, hoping the acne would disappear, but it was too late. The damage had been done. Amina's confidence plummeted again, but this time it was worse. Not only had her skin not become lighter, but now it was scarred with deep, painful acne. She avoided mirrors altogether, unable to face what she had done to herself. Her classmates began to notice the changes in her appearance, and whispers filled the hallways. Linda, feeling partly responsible, suggested that Amina visit a dermatologist, but Amina was too ashamed and scared to seek professional help. Instead, she turned to online remedies and beauty influencers, hoping to find a quick fix. She layered her face with creams and masks, but nothing worked. The acne only worsened, spreading across her face like wildfire. As her skin condition deteriorated, so did Amina's social life. She started skipping school, avoiding her friends and family. She didn't want anyone to see her face in its current state. The once lively and sociable girl now spent her days locked in her room, scrolling through social media and comparing herself to others. Amina felt trapped in a vicious cycle. She became obsessed with finding a solution to her acne, spending hours online, looking for miracle products and treatments. But every new product only made things worse. Her self-esteem was shattered, and she began to spiral into depression, wondering if her skin would ever heal. One evening, Amina sat in front of her mirror, examining her skin under the harsh bathroom lights. Her face was covered in inflamed red bumps and scars that seemed permanent. For the first time, she realized that her obsession with lighter skin had led her to this dark place. The face wash, which had promised her beauty and confidence, had instead ruined her skin and her self-worth. In that moment of clarity, Amina broke down in tears. She had always believed that lighter skin would make her beautiful, but now she saw the cost of chasing that unattainable ideal. Her obsession had only caused her pain, and she finally understood that her value wasn't tied to her skin color. The next day, Amina decided it was time to seek help. She confided in her mother, explaining everything. Her insecurity, the face wash, the acne, and the shame she had felt for weeks. Her mother, heartbroken but understanding, immediately took her to see a dermatologist. The doctor was kind and compassionate, reassuring Amina that her skin could heal with time and proper care. He prescribed her a treatment plan to help calm the inflammation and begin the long process of healing. For the first time in weeks, Amina felt a glimmer of hope. Amina's journey to recovery was slow and challenging. She followed the dermatologist's instructions carefully, avoiding any new products and focusing on healing her skin. It wasn't an overnight fix, but gradually the acne began to subside. The scars remained, reminding her of the damage she had done. But the redness and inflammation started to fade. During this time, Amina learned an important lesson. True beauty comes from confidence and self-acceptance, not from altering your appearance to fit societal standards. She began to rebuild her self-esteem, not through skincare products, but by surrounding herself with supportive friends and family who loved her for who she was, not how she looked. Months passed, and Amina's skin had significantly improved. While it wasn't perfect, it no longer consumed her thoughts the way it once had. She had learned to accept herself as she was, embracing her natural beauty and realizing that the chase for lighter skin was futile. She started sharing her story online, hoping to help other young women who felt the same pressures she had once faced. Her message was clear. No product or cream could give you the self-love that comes from within. Amina had learned this the hard way, but she was determined to spread the word and inspire others to embrace their natural selves. Even though Amina's acne had cleared up, the scars it left behind were a constant reminder of her mistake. She stared at her reflection, sometimes feeling proud of her progress, but other times discouraged by the uneven texture and dark marks on her skin. However, she had come a long way emotionally and was determined not to let the scars define her. Amina started seeing the dermatologist regularly to treat the scars. Though the results were gradual, she remained patient. With each passing month, the scars faded slightly. More importantly, Amina had learned to live with them. She began to see them as part of her story, a story of resilience and growth. During this time, Amina also began to focus on rebuilding her confidence. She enrolled in new activities that took her mind off her appearance, joining a local art class and volunteering at community events. For the first time in years, her life wasn't centered around her looks. Her confidence grew not because her skin was perfect, but because she was finding joy in things outside of her appearance. She learned that real self-worth came from her talents, kindness, and the connections she made with people. Slowly but surely, Amina was rediscovering herself and what truly mattered. As Amina gained more confidence, she started to challenge the beauty standards that had once consumed her. She realized how destructive society's obsession with lighter skin could be, not only for herself, but for countless other young women. Amina began speaking out about colorism, sharing her story on social media to spread awareness. She received messages from other girls who had experienced the same struggles. And Amina knew she wasn't alone in her fight against these unrealistic standards. With every post and conversation, she became a voice of change, encouraging others to embrace their natural beauty. Amina had distanced herself from Linda after the face wash incident, holding a silent grudge for months. Although she had never openly blamed Linda, she couldn't help but feel betrayed. But as Amina grew and healed, she realized that holding on to resentment wouldn't serve her. One afternoon, Amina decided to talk to Linda. They met at a cafe, where Amina opened up about her struggles and the impact the face wash had on her. Linda was genuinely remorseful and apologized for not knowing the product would harm her skin. The conversation was honest and heartfelt, and they both forgave each other. It marked a new beginning for their friendship, based on understanding and growth. In the months following her recovery, Amina embraced self-care in a new way. It was no longer about achieving perfect skin or changing her appearance, but about nurturing her mind, body, and soul. She developed a skincare routine that focused on healing and protecting her skin, using gentle products that suited her natural complexion. Amina also took care of her mental health by meditating, journaling, and spending time with loved ones. She realized that true beauty radiated from within, and taking care of her inner well-being was just as important as taking care of her skin. This balanced approach brought Amina peace and contentment she had never felt before. After months of isolating herself, Amina finally returned to school with a renewed sense of confidence. She no longer cared what others thought about her appearance. Instead, she focused on her studies and building genuine connections with her classmates. Though some of her peers still gossiped about her skin, Amina didn't let it bother her anymore. She had developed a thicker skin, both literally and figuratively. Her sense of self-worth was no longer tied to the opinions of others. She walked through the halls with her head held high, knowing that she was so much more than her skin. Inspired by her personal journey, Amina developed a passion for helping others who struggled with similar insecurities. She decided to study dermatology, hoping to one day become a skincare expert who could guide young women through their skincare issues with kindness and compassion. In her free time, Amina volunteered at a local clinic that provided affordable skincare treatments for those in need. It was fulfilling work, and every time she helped someone, she remembered how far she had come. Her pain had transformed into purpose, and Amina felt empowered by the idea that she could make a real difference in the lives of others. Amina's story continued to spread on social media, and her following grew. People resonated with her message of self-acceptance, and they admired her honesty about the struggles she had faced. With every post, Amina shared tips on skincare, mental health, and self-love, hoping to inspire young women around the world. Soon, Amina was invited to speak at events and participate in panels on colorism and beauty standards. She used these opportunities to advocate for inclusivity in beauty, calling out harmful products that preyed on insecurities and encouraging brands to celebrate diversity. Amina had become a role model for many, and her voice was making an impact. As Amina continued her journey, she realized how much stronger she had become. The pain and shame she had once felt were now replaced with pride and self-assurance. Her journey wasn't just about healing her skin, it was about discovering her inner strength and realizing her worth beyond her appearance. Amina knew that challenges would still arise, and that she might face insecurity again. But she was prepared to face them head-on, with the knowledge that her beauty came from her heart, her mind, and her resilience. Looking back, Amina was grateful for the lessons she had learned. What had once seemed like a nightmare had turned into a journey of growth and empowerment. She had found her voice, her passion, and her confidence, and the future now seemed full of endless possibilities. Amina smiled as she looked in the mirror one last time, not because her skin was perfect, but because she finally saw herself for who she truly was. Strong, beautiful, and worthy, just as she was. Amina had come to terms with the fact that not every aspect of her journey could be controlled. Letting go of her past obsession with lighter skin was a continuous process, one that required daily effort. She often reflected on the mindset she once had, how she believed that looking a certain way would solve all her problems. With time, Amina learned to let go of the unrealistic beauty standards that had once ruled her life. She embraced her natural complexion and celebrated her individuality. Letting go of her old ideals didn't mean she forgot her struggles, but it allowed her to move forward with a healthier perspective on beauty. Despite the progress she had made, not everyone supported Amina's newfound confidence. Online trolls would occasionally comment on her photos, criticizing her skin and questioning her decision to share her story so openly. At first, these negative comments stung, reopening old wounds and making her question if she was truly beautiful. But Amina quickly realized that these critics were a reflection of their own insecurities. She refused to let their negativity bring her down. Instead, she continued to focus on the positive messages she received from people who were inspired by her journey. Amina learned that not everyone would understand her path, but that didn't diminish her worth. During the height of her obsession, Amina had distanced herself from her family. She felt embarrassed and ashamed of how far she had let her insecurity take her. But now, with her confidence restored, Amina began to rebuild her relationships with her loved ones. Her family welcomed her back with open arms. They had always loved her for who she was. Even when she couldn't see her own value, Amina spent more time with her parents and siblings, finding joy in their support and unconditional love. Reconnecting with her family gave her the strength to continue her journey of self-acceptance. Amina started an online campaign called Own Your Glow, aimed at promoting natural beauty and encouraging women to embrace their skin tone. The campaign quickly gained traction, with people from all over the world sharing their stories of overcoming colorism and learning to love their unique beauty. The Own Your Glow movement became a platform for people to celebrate diversity and challenge the harmful beauty standards that so many struggled with. Amina was proud to see how her personal experience had sparked a conversation that was helping others feel seen and valued. As the Own Your Glow campaign grew, Amina found herself in high demand. Schools, organizations, and even beauty brands invited her to speak about her journey and the importance of self-acceptance. She became an advocate for educating young people about the dangers of colorism and the unrealistic beauty ideals perpetuated by society. Amina made it her mission to empower others with the knowledge she wished she had when she was younger. She spoke passionately about the importance of skincare education, urging people to be cautious of harmful products that promised unrealistic results. Through her advocacy, Amina was helping to reshape the narrative around beauty in her community. Self-love became a daily practice for Amina. She incorporated mindfulness into her routine, starting each day with positive affirmations. Instead of criticizing her reflection, she focused on the things she loved about herself. Her bright eyes, her radiant smile, and the kindness she showed others. She also developed a healthy relationship with her skincare routine. No longer was it about chasing perfection or lighter skin. Instead, it was a form of self-care, a way to nurture her skin and appreciate its natural beauty. Amina's relationship with herself had transformed, and she was committed to continuing her journey of self-love. Amina's story inspired many of her classmates, especially those who had once judged her for her appearance. Some of them reached out to her, admitting they too had felt insecure about their skin, but hadn't known how to express it. Amina was touched by their honesty and offered her support. She began holding small group discussions at school, creating a safe space for young women to talk openly about their insecurities. These discussions helped her classmates understand that beauty was not one-dimensional, and that everyone had their own unique qualities worth celebrating. Amina had turned her painful experience into a source of healing for others. Amina's newfound confidence attracted a new group of friends who appreciated her for who she was. These friends supported her campaign and her advocacy work, and they admired her strength. Together, they formed a tight-knit community that lifted each other up and celebrated their differences. Gone were the days when Amina surrounded herself with people who pressured her to change her appearance. Her new friends encouraged her to be herself, and they all shared a bond built on authenticity and mutual respect. For the first time, Amina felt like she belonged, not because of how she looked, but because of who she was. Though Amina had come a long way, she still had moments when her past insecurities resurfaced. There were days when she would catch herself longing for the lighter skin she once desired. But now, she knew how to combat those thoughts. Amina had learned that healing wasn't linear, and it was okay to have setbacks. Instead of being discouraged, Amina embraced these moments as opportunities for growth. She reminded herself of how far she had come and all the lives she had touched with her story. Every time she healed a little more, she became even stronger. Amina's journey was far from over, but she was proud of the legacy she was building. Through her story, her campaign, and her advocacy work, she was making a lasting impact on the lives of others. The Own Your Glow movement continued to grow, with more people joining the conversation about colorism and natural beauty. Amina knew that her past struggles had shaped her into the person she was today. She had learned that true beauty wasn't about fitting into a specific mold. It was about embracing your uniqueness and loving yourself for who you are. Her legacy was one of empowerment, and she was excited to see where her journey would lead next. As Amina's campaign continued to flourish, she faced one final challenge. A major beauty brand reached out, offering her a lucrative deal to promote a new line of skin-lightening products. Though the offer was tempting and could elevate her career to new heights, it conflicted with everything she stood for. Amina was torn. The deal could provide her with financial stability and a wider platform, but at the cost of promoting the very ideals she had fought so hard to reject. After much reflection, She realized that no amount of money or fame could replace the values she now held dear. She turned down the offer, confident in her decision to stay true to herself and her message. Amina's decision to reject the deal resonated with her followers. Her honesty and commitment to her cause only strengthened her reputation. The Own Your Glow movement became bigger than ever, with people from all walks of life joining together to reject harmful beauty standards. The campaign sparked real change, leading to public discussions, policy changes in the beauty industry, and a growing demand for products that celebrated diversity rather than conformity. Amina had built more than just a following. She had built a community united by self-love and empowerment. Years passed, and Amina became a well-known advocate for beauty inclusivity. Her work earned her recognition and accolades, but the most fulfilling moments came from the individual stories of people she had inspired. Whether it was a young girl learning to love her skin or a woman breaking free from colorist ideals, Amina's influence was undeniable. One day, Amina walked past a group of young girls, overhearing them talk about the Own Your Glow movement. They were laughing, confident, and celebrating each other's natural beauty. A smile spread across Amina's face as she realized that she had come full circle. Her struggles had paved the way for a new generation to embrace their uniqueness without shame. Amina's journey wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who had ever felt pressured to conform to unrealistic standards. Through her platform, her voice, and her example, she had shown the world that true beauty comes from within. And while her work was far from finished, Amina was content, knowing that the seeds of change had been planted. As she looked to the future, Amina saw endless possibilities. Whether it was expanding her campaign, helping more young women, or continuing her personal journey of self-love, Amina knew that her life had meaning beyond her wildest dreams. She had become the person she had always hoped to be, strong, confident, and proud of who she was. Amina sat at her desk, writing a letter to her younger self. In it, she shared everything she had learned along the way, the importance of loving herself, the strength that came from adversity, and the beauty that radiated from within. As she penned the final words, Amina felt a deep sense of peace. Her journey had not been easy, but it had been worth it. Every challenge, every setback, and every moment of doubt had shaped her into the woman she had become. And now, as she closed the chapter on this part of her life, Amina was ready to embrace whatever came next, with her head held high and her heart full of love.